film-related interviews, reviews, and content, please like and subscribe to Pooja Talwar. You can also follow me on Twitter and on Instagram.
Kalki, lovely meeting you. I think I'm speaking to you after 2.5 years or so. You had just had your baby girl then.
Yeah, sorry. When do you remember what we met for?
About your book.
Ah, right. Yes. How are you doing?
I'm doing very well. And before we start speaking about Goldfish, I want to tell you, you as Faiza just rocked it for me. I kind of resonated with her in this season. I found her more human. I mean, I think her arc was beautiful because first season we judged her, and in second season she just came across as a very real, relatable, insecure woman fighting her own demons. So, I mean, what was it like for you, coming on board second season with Faiza?
Yeah, it's really nice that we see a little more courage in her. I think we see, of course, the insecurity that she constantly has, but we see that she's ready to fight for certain things. And I've always believed that Faiza is heart on sleeve, even in first season. It's just, it didn't come out as much as here, where she's like, I'll fight for love. I'll fight for my baby. I'll fight for my shop, the work that I love doing. So we see that.
Is she anything like you?
Oh gosh, I don't think I hope I'm not as much of a nervous wreck as Faiza. But of course, there are traces of times where you're feeling, insecure, where you do care about other people's judgment. And I think she's one of those people who ultimately is an artist. And so she will ultimately do what her soul wants, what she needs to express. But it just takes time, and she makes the wrong moves in the process.
And now coming for your next Goldfish. So, Dipti Naval said that she actually signed on to this film when she heard that you were part of the movie.
I know, that was so flattering to hear. She's a fantastic woman in every way, not just as an actor, but also as a painter, as a director, as a poet. I followed her work, so I was really thrilled that she was coming on board. And yeah, it's been really a good process between us.
And so talking about this film, because we've all had someone in our family who's been through dementia. My grandmother did. And it's extremely trying for the caretaker. The rest of the family is to give support, but the one person that this person actually looks up to,
yeah,
it's really rough. So what was it like, understanding, and you're playing the daughter, so what was it like getting under the headspace of Anamika? I mean, understanding her.
It is a very, I haven't had to caretake to that degree as a daughter, although I have had, serious illnesses that my mother had in the past. So there were periods of time where I've been that. But I think what I can relate to is becoming a full-time mom, because that's also the same kind of caretaking. It takes all your energy. You don't sleep at night. You don't have a set routine. It's really, really tough in the beginning. So I could relate to that. And I was going through exactly that during the shoot. So I could empathize a lot with Anamika's character. And also just the other thing I could empathize with is this identity crisis. Anamika is kind of the opposite of me in the sense that she's Caucasian British who wants to be British and doesn't want to acknowledge her Indianness. Whereas I'm like acknowledging and want to be Indian, but I'm actually French. So, there's that, but that duality that, you have to face and love both sides of who you are, or all the sides that you are. So I think that's her journey.
And it's interesting because this duality we've spoken about before, but I would always find you more Indian than most Indians. Somewhere have you found your way around this duality, that interesting duality?
I think it's definitely at the foreground of a lot of my expression. When I write about stuff, I write about these things. And I am much more confident and comfortable to say I'm Indian. Whereas before I would be like, no, but I'm French, but I need to do. Now I'm just like, I'm Indian, deal with it. I know I don't look it. I know I'm not. I have a French, heritage, but I'm Indian. So I've stopped explaining myself as much.
And it's also interesting in terms of work, because you looked different from the typical Indian heroine. So you got cast in those kind of roles. But now I think everyone just opening up, you're now playing characters that anyone else would. Do you think that also has kind of balanced out?
To a certain degree, yes. I mean, there will be characters I will never be able to play because of the way I look. And that's fine. It's the same for somebody like, let's say, my friend Radhika Apte. She has, certain kinds of roles come to her that won't come to me, and vice versa. But I think, yes, the range is more flexible just because we have more. I think OTT has just introduced so many more writers, so many more kinds of stories. It doesn't always have to be a hero-heroine story. And that's what's really changing.
And talking about stories, you have a very interesting filmography, for every Ye Jawani Hai Diwani, you have Margarita, and then for every, Zindagi Milegi Na Dobara, you give us a Waiting and you give us a Goldfish. So how has it been like, going through this? And you even said that somebody actually told you not to do Ye Jawani Hai Diwani, but I think Aditi was actually the most three-dimensional character in that film.
Yes, she's definitely given me a lot for my career as well. But yeah, I think there is a certain balance you have to make. You have to strike. You have to keep working. You have to be smart about the kind of work you choose. That people will see the work, that it will come out. At the same time, I've grown up in theater. I've done a lot of that, and I am interested in sort of meaty roles, in finding things which challenge me. I guess I'm just really grateful that I can do both. Yeah. And I keep doing both. I have another kind of commercial film coming end of the year called Kho Gaye Hum Kahan, that's produced by Tiger Baby. And then there's, Goldfish, that's very different.
You and Zoya kind of complement each other. The sensibilities could be different, the kind of cinema, but they're also very similar as women, because I would say that you both are also, women who lend their voice to stand by your ideologies. What is it like working with her, though? It's very interesting, the dynamics between the two of you.
Well, that's a great compliment, because she's a power boss lady like nothing else. She's really doing it all. And for me, Zoya is very precise and specific. She's a writer as well as a director. So what she does is she always gets the beats even in the writing. So you will always see that pause. There's a reason for her writing pause, because that pause will give it that little sense of humor or whatever it is. So it's really beautiful to work with someone who's so precise, because the work is done for you. Then you just have to kind of learn your lines, show up on set and do it, And that's not always the case. Most of the time you're also like, how do I make this better? How do I fix this? How do I make this alive? And that's not the case with her work.
And also for you as an artist, when you get a character like say Anamika, you get a Feza and Aditi, do you also first see what you get on paper, or do you also try to analyze it as yourself as a woman, then what the writer's perception has been of that character, and not judging it and just getting into it?
It's a tricky space. I think that you cannot judge your character as an actor. You have to empathize with your character to make that character believable. But the context of why that character is in the story is important. The context overall. I can play a very disempowered woman if the context of the entire story is saying that it's not okay to be disempowered, and if it's criticizing that and saying what can we, like questioning it. I think that's the important. It's not about which role you choose. It's about the overall, ideology, I guess.
And how has mamahood changed you? Because I know you said you want to devote the first 7 years of your daughter's growing up, I think she's over 2. But has it kind of changed in your, the kind of work you're doing, what you're choosing to do? And also, has she started recognizing you on television?
She has. I haven't been showing her my films, But she has seen me on shoots, and she thinks like like the other day she said, Mama has become a mermaid, because I was wearing this very like mermaidy dress, so she has this concept of what I'm doing, but it's not too accurate. And I, yeah, I just love it. I love this phase. She's 3. She's so chatting. I can't wait to get back home to her. It is a really hard balance. The mom guilt is real. You really want to get back to them. But yeah, I think what happens is you just become very clear about what your priorities are. It's much easier for me to say no, whereas before I was like, I should I just keep working something or the other, this will bounce something else off, etc. Whereas now I'm a little more like, nope, okay, can't do it, sorry. It's a basic easy decision to make. I mean, if I have been working for 2-3 months in a row, I can't do another project. I need to be home. So the balance has to be struck.
And for somebody who's just been so open and beautifully balanced a personal and professional life, how do you and your partner balance this parenthood, your work, and the other
Actually,
stuff that comes with it?
suffering, it's anything is suffering. It's not my relationship with my daughter. It's my relationship with my partner, because, when I get back, he has to go to work. He also travels for work, right, in Israel. So it's like we see each other for 3 days, and then he's gone for like 3 weeks, and it's that. So it's good in the sense that we miss each other, and we're still like a newly met couple who's like really thrilled to see each other. But it is hard. And but I'm lucky that I have that kind of partner who sees my career as important as everything else. And I think that we always have to remember that our kids don't really do what we tell them to do. They do what they see us doing. So if they see empowered, happy parents, they're going to be empowered, happy kids.
I so get that. And that's a good way to maintain your relationship. Not see each other for some time and then see each other like, oh, I'm happy to see you.
Yeah.
But also, Anurag is present in Goldfish. I also like the friendship and camaraderie that you have. Does it take a lot, or do you think it just takes its own natural course?
It takes time. There's no denying that, the first few years after our divorce, we couldn't be the kind of friends that we are today. We needed that separate time because it hurts to know about the other person's relationships and things like that. So, of course, we took that time. I definitely took a lot of therapy. And now it's been 7-8 years. It's been a long time. So it's fine. It's great. And we get along as friends, as people, that's why we were together in the first place.
And that's interesting. Did Sapo enjoy Alia's engagement? Was she happy to see all those bridal finery?
She loved her lehenga, and she thought Alia herself was a princess. Yes. And she absolutely danced the night away. At one point, she was literally in the middle of the dance floor with everybody around her dancing.
Oh, sweet. But it's wonderful chatting with you. And so which one of your characters do you actually resonate with most? And you have done so many.
Yeah, I think for me, Aditi is always going to be very close to who I am in terms of this kind of, I was the kind of teenage girl who had mostly boys as friends, and I was quite a tomboy. And I wasn't very pretty because I had these railway tracks on my mouth, the braces. And so I didn't really think of myself like that. And then when the braces came off, I just became this like gorgeous beauty. And I was like, oh, people are interested in me for my looks. And it was like, and then I also, like whatever, like I learned about love in the hard way, lost a few things, gained many. So yeah, I think I definitely relate to Aditi.
And any plans to write another book?
Oh gosh, a book, I don't know. I do want to write a script. I have something in mind, and starting work on that. But yeah, I don't know about books right now.
But it's so interesting because what you are on screen, you're off screen as well. Like you've spoken about, when you had your baby, you spoke about pregnancy issues. Before that, you spoke about body shaming and stuff like that, So can we separate the actor and the artist, or not so? You're the same people.
I definitely can't separate. The personal and the professional are mixed all the time. And I really feel like that's how it should be, because we can't be our best at work if we don't have the context of what's going on back home. So, I do think taking an interest in, our colleagues and our, professional, whoever that we work with, taking an interest in their personal life does improve the work.
Thank you so much. Always a pleasure to speak to you. Want to see you back doing more work as you did. And well, keep the flag flying high, as they say. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
If you've liked this interview, please like, share, and subscribe. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram.